Hi, and welcome back to the Ants Subon YouTube channel. In today's video, I have chosen 3 questions which I think I can make into a YouTube Q&A. These 3 questions are gathered and compounded across all Ants Subon online selling platforms, social media platforms, and messaging application inboxes. Hopefully, I will be making good content for this channel, and I will be featuring the Colobopsis ant genus. I will also be updating you on my Iridomyrmex colony, which you need to take a look at since the last post. And finally, the most asked question: what is the starter nest I used for my new young established colony? So without further delay, let me answer the first question. How to raise a founding Colobopsis queen? Let me introduce you to my Colobopsis. I am not too sure about the name of this particular species. Perhaps my viewers can shed some light and enlighten me with this species identification. The Colobopsis ant is one of the unpopular genuses to keep since not much is known about them. Ant keepers tend to shy away from this species unless someone comes up with a proper care sheet for keeping Colobopsis. Other widely covered species, such as Colobopsis explodens too, lack the information for us keepers to grasp the know-how. Unfortunately, it has led to the death of my own Colobopsis explodens caught last year. Here, I will try my best to share a few experiences and findings whilst keeping this species myself. You can say it is elementary or entry level, but I will try my best to explain. This Colobopsis can be mostly found in forests with shaded canopies. That is where they live, in a very high up nest in the tree canopies, nesting in branches, and using the tree canopies as their highway. They could make nests in dried up branches, which could enable them to bore out nests much more easily than the living ones. They are very good at making holes in tree branches and plugging them with their truncated heads. Another use of the odd-shaped head is to shovel wood shavings out of the nest. It is an ingenious design. I highly recommend a narrow or small test tube for the founding queen. This will mimic the cramped environment in the wild where they live. Never put in a nest during the founding stages. The queen may never lay a single egg due to stress from the vast, spacious nest. They could have hundreds, if not thousands, in a colony and be polymorphic, having major workers that could help store food and maintain their colony's longevity. I have yet to see any majors yet, but I know they are dwarfed by other Camponotus species major. Every year I encounter their nuptial flight, usually a day after we have a thunderstorm. The queen can be difficult to spot as they are well camouflaged with their brown and black coloration. This queen was caught in early October 2021, and it was a very slow process during the queen's founding. I say this because, unlike other ant species, Colobopsis doesn't lay a ton of broods. Perhaps only half a dozen eggs or so. Only then, after her first generation workers appear, can I see her brood pile starting to form. She still has her wings, which is very common in this species. I have 5 other colonies, all with their wings still attached. The wings are very thin, almost translucent, somewhat iridescent, and could be able to fly if they wanted to. Definitely not this one, since it's already half eaten by her workers. They are not polygynous for sure, as I have tried merging 2 colonies together and they fought. They lost a few workers in the process, and they died, biting and not letting go of each other in the cuddle of death. In the months of keeping this colony, I have come to realize that their diet seems to be mostly small insects such as cricket nymphs, and they drink mostly sugar water. In fact, they love sugary liquids more than solid food. They do take cut-up mealworms as well, but observation tells me they love cricket nymphs more than worms. I strongly believe that in the wild, they will excessively farm sweet dew from aphids. Like all ants, we need to provide drinking water once the first batch of workers arrives. I hope this basic coverage of this species of Colobopsis ant is sufficient to at least help you start the journey of keeping them for the first time. Moving on to the next question. Aside from this, let me show you my Iridomyrmex species. They need no introduction, but many of you asked me if there were any active or interesting ants to keep besides those of Camponotus. This brings us to the second question. I would definitely recommend this species as it is easy to raise and, most importantly, exciting to keep. I mean, it will really keep you on your toes. If you want to know more about this species, do drop me a PM or DM. I will be glad to answer all the questions you have about this particular species, the Iridomyrmex bicknelli. I have covered this species in my videos in the past, but let me share some facts about them that you might not know. We know they are subterranean nest dwellers, and they are profoundly polygynous. They are capable of raising super colonies in the wild. Super colonies only occur when one or more fertile queens leave the original nest and start a new colony nearby, hence forming a larger community in close proximity. Soon, both nests will merge into complicated tunnels, hence forming a super colony that consists of hundreds of thousands of individuals, which could wreak havoc in the surrounding area. The brood nest section is the second nest expansion. I am in awe at how one queen can lay thousands of eggs. I cannot imagine having more than one queen in this colony. So if you ask me, what ant species is active? The answer is right in front of you, and asking for an active ant species is merely the tip of the iceberg. The third and final question I am frequently asked is how to successfully raise a young ant colony from the start. The answer is usually not what you might expect me to provide. First, it is by getting the right nest. Secondly, to understand the ant species that you have in terms of size and habits. Many keepers fail to start their ant keeping hobby journey by getting the wrong nest for their ants. There are many variables in deciding what nest to get, but the most common mistake is getting a nest not suited to the size of the ant species you have. Most medium to large ant species will be suitable in nests like this one, small, simple, and uncomplicated. It is even suitable for more demanding species such as Polyrhachis. I have been using this nest for almost all my large to medium-sized ant species in this nest, and it has worked tremendously well. This particularly simple-looking acrylic nest has served hundreds of ant keepers' needs, and is one of the best nests to cultivate young colonies before transferring them to a medium-sized nest. Always start with a small nest and gradually work your way up to a bigger nest, depending on the size of the colony. Here I have a Polyrhachis, a slow-growing ant species. They have been tested and kept in this red starter nest for the past 6 months. They started with just 5 workers, just like what you saw earlier, and now they have weaved their nest out of the chambers and made it into their own. I never have to do anything for nest maintenance other than refill the moisture water tower. If a Polyrhachis can thrive in this type of acrylic nest, what does that say for other species? What about smaller species such as Phytol or Nilandaria, you ask? Small ant species should never be kept in any commercially available nest unless it is made specifically for them. They should be kept in a fully enclosed nest that does not have connecting panels, and it is best if they are kept in a one-piece compartment with a good lid. It can be any form, shape and size, as long as it sustains them in the containment without them escaping due to their size. If the container does not come with an opening, you should make a good air vent made of grated microfilter steel mesh. In my future Ant Subong Tips upload, I will get into the details of how to set up the nest. That is all for now. These are some of the best answers I can give for the time being. I hope I can elaborate more, but do keep in mind that the answer given is in my best interest based on my experience in ant keeping. If you like this video, do give me a like and subscribe if you decide to support us. Thank you for watching. Ant Subong.